Hi guys, welcome to another video. This is my beautiful Phalaenopsis Sogovivian, and it is here with me just to show this beauty to you. We're not going to talk about it today. If you're curious about it, you should look after it as you look after any of your other Phalaenopsis. It's the same thing. You should give it the same care. The only difference is that's a variegated one, but it acts exactly like any other Phalaenopsis. It has two beautiful flower spikes, and I'm so happy with them. So the video today is not about Phalaenopsis. We're gonna report two plants that I've showed to you on my series where we'll talk about recovering orchids and what I've been learning with these orchids that I bought that were very stressed in that bundle. Last update that I gave you, I showed you that my Twinkle and my Pleurothallis, they were both rooted, and I thought that I could report the Pleurothallis. But looking at them today, I noticed that my Twinkle has longer roots as well. So we report both of them, and I'm going to talk about them. I know that Pleurothallis are not the most popular orchids. At least I don't see many people talking about it. But the Twinkle is. So it's also an opportunity for me to anchor you, to gather you if you like the Oncidium Twinkle, and we can talk about how to save them. But also I've done a little bit of research about my Pleurothallis, and I'll tell you what I learned about that. And we report both of them together. If that's the type of content you're looking for today, stay here and let's do everything together. Before the reporting though, I want to ask you something. I have many orchids to report, and I would like to know which one you would like to see the most. Because I do this video, I create these videos for people to watch me. So if I'm reporting an orchid or a plant that you are not interested, that doesn't make any sense. So I do have a few things. I have a Hoya that I bought in France. So if you want to see me reporting a Hoya and talking about a new Hoya that came potted in soil, we can talk about my Hoya. I do have a Paphiopedilum. To be honest, I have two Paphiopedilums that need to be reported. I have my Phalaenopsis minimark that also needs to be reported. And the last but not least, I do have two Miltoniopsis that are climbed out of their pot and that needs to be reported as well. So let me know if you prefer Hoya, Miltoniopsis, Phalaenopsis minimark, or Paphiopedilum, and I will do that in the next video for you. So now let's go to our recover bundle and let's talk about these two plants here. What happened to them, how I managed to recover them. Also encourage you to watch all of the other videos on this series where I show you how I received these plants, how were they, how I managed to save them until here to make them push out new roots. I will explain a little bit about the repotting technique when I remove them from these pots. Let's do that. Okay, so this one very close to my face here is my Pleurothallis anfracta. While I was researching about these plants, I researched a lot about the Pleurothallis. I'm not very familiar with the genera because Pleurothallis, it's, as I said, I don't think it's the most popular one. So someone gave to me a division of a Pleurothallis before. I haven't researched much about it. I just reported this one. I did a bit of research. Apparently the Pleurothallis is a very large genera for orchids. It has like 1,000 species and they are very different between them, among themselves. So some of them are epiphytes, other are terrestrial, other are semi-terrestrial. We have different sorts of growing habits. Some of them are co-growing, other are more towards the intermediate side of growing, or other are more towards the hot growing side. So we have miniature, tiny Pleurothallis, and we have large ones. I didn't find any video about these plants, so as I said, not a very popular one. This one is from Colombia, is from the high altitudes of Colombia, I think 1,500 above the sea level to 1,800. This one is also a cool-growing species. It's between intermediate to cool-growing. It grows in the shadow of the forest. As you can see, cool as shadow. I don't advise you to get this plant probably if you live in a hot and tropical country, very dry spots, because if you think about high altitudes, shaded location in tropical countries, it's going to be extremely humid and cool. So it's not a very easy condition for us to recreate inside our home. So I don't know even how am I going to do with this one. People love these because the flowers, they are very, very dark, like a dark brown, purple that comes closer to black. But the flowers are not large. I think they are tiny. So that's what I read and what I learned about these Pleurothallis. So what I'm going to do with these, I know that it has roots, and the roots, they are a little bit fizzy, hairy. I will pot in a self-watering pot that I created. This self-watering pot, it's basically I have a fiber that I will insert inside my plastic pot, and I will pot it in moss, full moss, because I have no idea how my plant will perform, if you enjoy full moss, if you will not. I will add a little piece, some bark, just to aerate the medium a little bit here and there, but it will be more moss. More than that, I have to analyze and see how my plant is doing. I don't have much experience with growing species. I do have 2 Masdevallias. They're not doing very well. I have them for more than a year. One of them is the Guinea, again, from high altitudes as well, Colombia, Ecuador, all that region of South America. I don't find them very easy to grow inside our homes. I don't think everybody is capable of without some special conditions if you live in a hot country. They are still alive, which is good. So hopefully this one will survive. I don't know, maybe it's easier. My other Pleurothallis is very easy. This one, I don't know how it will perform. So we will analyze. Talking about the Twinkle, I do have at least one more video about the Twinkle where I talk about the care tutorial, how to look after Twinkle. I will leave it here and we will explore its roots and everything, how it's doing when I unpot that. Let's start. As I said, I usually like to pot my plants in organic materials, so I do have my moss. My moss is dry. In London, we have issues with mold, so I never store my moss wet. I have here some bark. So I'm going to remove them both from these pots. As I said, I have other videos that I show how I place them in here and also how I saved these plants. To start, my Pleurothallis, because I start talking about it. So let's see. I showed you last time that it does have some roots and some very, very long roots coming here from the bottom. I don't know if you can see. I'm going to give you a close-up. So this yellow here, this is a root, and this is another root. Can you see here? That's another root. So that's my Pleurothallis. The first thing that I will do is remove the moss. The moss is pretty new because it has only been with this plant. I don't need to disturb the roots too much since, as I said, I placed the moss on this plant, and this moss has an amazing quality. It's a very good quality of moss. So I will just do that, but I don't need to do a lot. It's just to show you the roots. Can you see the roots there? Yay! And that's a moldy stick. Ugh, very gross, to be honest. So bye-bye, mold stick. The mold stick will go away. It's normal. It's organic medium, so it gets mold. Can you see the beautiful roots? Yeah, that's the Pleurothallis. So I will keep it here. We will repot it with the other plant. Let me get the Twinkle for you. The day is very dark in London today. I hope you can see it properly, but we do have a root here. We have other roots coming from the newer growth. Both of the newer growths, they have roots. The roots are growing all around the plant. And I do have roots here under my moss. Can you see that in this ball of moss? Again, I'm not going to disturb these roots. With the Twinkle, I said that I've never saved a Twinkle before. That's the first time. And I'm very happy because the growth that the plant arrived with produced roots. The 2 new growths are pushing out roots. So I think it will survive, finger crossed. I am very happy with the result. Apparently this one is that the same Twinkle that I already have. The one with like beige flowers, a tone of white. And yeah, that's the classical Twinkle. I think it's the same one. I'm not sure. I will pot this up, wait for it to bloom, and we will discover together. But I'm happy because the plant pushed so many roots and it's growing well. With the Twinkle, I will pot with bark and moss, but the same thing with the Pleurothallis. I will definitely add more moss than bark, but it will be in a tiny pot, not in a self-watering pot, not tiny, small, to be honest. It's this kind of pot. This is like an yogurt pot, and I drill holes in it, and that's it. So I will pot it with bark and moss, more moss than bark, because the Twinkle is an Oncidium and it needs and enjoys its humidity a lot. The only thing that worries me about these two plants out of this pot is that my thrips infestation is still here. So I need to add something to these pots to protect my plants, but I don't have any more sticks insecticide. I need to buy more. But in my opinion, what I've noticed with these sticks insecticides that it helps to control the infestation, but it doesn't get rid of the thrips completely. Anyway, enough about thrips. I'm blabbing a lot today. Let's repot these plants. Okay, as you can see, we have a big mess in here. Big mess. So I will start with my Pleurothallis, sorry. As I said, I have a fiber here, it's a synthetic fiber. And I cleaned everything because I've used that with other plants. You can just wash that in a washing machine after you. So everything's cleaned. I just insert it in the pot. What I do is, the base of this pot is large, like I don't know how many centimeters it has, probably around, it's 10, it's saying that it's 10 centimeters. And I have this as a classical orchid pot. So the base doesn't go until the bottom, so it keeps floating. So I can have some water here on the bottom, and the synthetic fiber can just pull the water and drag up to the pot, which is great. So it works as a self-watering system. Because the Pleurothallis, the one that I have, it is a terrestrial orchid. I'm not gonna pot it in soil because I don't have experience with these in soil, and I don't know the sort of environment that it grows. So I'm a little bit scared to place it inside soil at the moment. So I will basically pot it in moss, because it was growing moss before, so I think it will be all right, all good. And let's see what happened with it. So I will keep adding my moss. My moss is very fluffy because it's not wet whatsoever, which is good. You shouldn't compress your moss too much, but because, again, this is a terrestrial one, so I'm not very worried. I do add some bark here and there just to aerate it, but not a lot. And potting with moss is very, very easy, but you have to be careful. I live in a cool country, so too much moss, compressed moss, can definitely rot the root of my orchids if the orchid is not used to it, if it's not the right plant to it, and again, if, oops, I compress my moss. So moss needs to be always soft. I don't need to do that with my moss. It can be soft. We need some air with water, even if it's a terrestrial one. That's the case of this one. I do have other terrestrial orchids or semi-terrestrial. They are not potted in moss. The only one that I have potted in soil, sorry, not in moss, in soil, is a massive zygopetalum that I have. It's funny, it loves it so much. I never imagined. It does so well in that soil. So well. It blooms like 2 to 3 times a year. It has a massive flower spike right now. And I have other zygopetalum that's under the same growing light. And it's not blooming. It didn't push through any flower spike, and it's a mature and a larger one. So sometimes both of them are hybrids. So the parents, I think they have different light requirement. But again, that plant is potted in soil and it's doing amazingly well. This is New Zealand's Sphagnum moss. It's not a cheap moss, but it's an amazing quality one. In London, we do have orchid vendors that sell this kind of moss. I have never seen it on Amazon, but I know that you can find it on, it's called Orchids Accessories or something like that in here. In the other parts of the world, I don't know, but I know that in London that's the case. I hope you're being able to see everything that I'm doing. So my plant is full of moss. Hey, I'm gonna add some slow release fertilizer. I have no idea how much fertilizer this plant needs to grow healthfully. Again, it's the first time that I have it. I'm happy that inside the high humidity chamber it did well, but we never know how it will do inside my home environment. So I will definitely update you when I see something new. The other plants, we can do a more general update maybe in a month or so. My idea was to do 2 videos a month again and return with more regular updates. But I need help to edit the videos. I usually don't do all the editing on my own. My husband helps me with the music and sound. And he is on a training right now, so he's studying, working. Things are a little bit slow around here. Maybe we'll return with that schedule. I will keep you posted. There we go. So my Pleurothallis, my language, hey, amazing. My Pleurothallis is fully potted. As you can see, lots of moss in here. It's gonna be self-watering and I'll keep you posted. Now, let's go to the Twinkle, Twinkle, Twinkle Little Star. The only problem with these yogurt pots is that they are very tall for all the decorative pots that we have. So as you can see, it won't go until the top here. We still have some plastic, transparent plastic, and I can have more algae and the medium can become completely green. So I think I won't go until the top. I will go until the last hole in here. That's where I'm gonna pot my Twinkle. Let's do that together. As I said, I will add a little bit of moss, but it's not gonna be full moss. So some moss on the bottom. I'm gonna do as I do with all of my orchids. So we do have some moss here on the bottom. Then we're gonna place a layer of bark. And we keep layering until everything is ready. When we have orchids that are not full of roots, it's easier to repot than when we have plants with lots of roots, because we have to be more careful not to disturb or to break any roots. As I said, I would pot it until the last hole in here, so I think that's the place. I will have to be very, very careful with these plants because I don't want to have any thrips around here. I don't know how I'm gonna do. Maybe I will place these 2 plants in my bedroom for now. Honestly, I think that's a very good strategy. I don't have a thrips infestation there. I think they will do better there than in here, especially because they are very young plants. And if thrips attack them both, it's gonna be harder for me to save them both. So that's what I'm gonna do. Let me get more bark. Sorry, before I get more bark, I need to add some slow release fertilizer here. Not a lot because it's still growing. Tiny, tiny, tiny Twinkle. We do have some varieties of Oncidium. I've tried to have one before, but it died. Sorry, the orange one. And I bought one that I thought was the yellow one. But when it rebloomed, the flowers were not yellow. When I bought it, it was pretty yellow, but then it became the cream one. So, yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, my Oncidium is repotted. So let me place it here, let me clean, and let's conclude this video. So guys, these are my 2 recovered orchids, fully potted. And a few notes in here. The Oncidium Twinkle is an epiphyte orchid, which means it doesn't grow in soil, so it needs a pretty airy medium. That's why I placed much more bark, because I knew that this orchid needs air around its roots in order to grow healthily. But also, it's an orchid that likes its humidity, so the moss is quite good for it as well. I have experience with Twinkle. That's the 3rd or 4th one that I have. I have one that's doing pretty well, and I lost 2 other ones. This one is my Pleurothallis. I don't have much experience with it, especially with one that's a co-growing one. So I don't know what to expect. I added more moss because again, it's a terrestrial, goes more towards the soil, which is more compact. It's not airy like air. When we think about epiphytes, we think about roots that grow in the air. So it's not the case of this one. So that's why it is inside a self-watering pot with so much more moss than bark. Talking about these two, it was really nice to see that both of them recovered very well and pretty quickly actually. And I thought I would maybe lose both of them. I'm quite happy with the result from my plants because at the moment now I do have a few of them that are already potted. I think with these two we have like 6 plants that are potted, which is very, very good. I remember seeing that I would save maybe 4. So the results are better than I expected. That was all that I want to show you today. Let me know which type of video you want to see next, which type of repotting. Again, I told you in the beginning, we have Miltoniopsis, we have Hoya, we have Perfume Pedalum, and we have Phalaenopsis as well. So we have a range of topics that we can explore together. I hope you enjoy it. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, and I hope to see you soon. And that's it. Bye-bye.